Hey now, everybody, it's the Rob from 1061 Kiss FM here with my tag team partner in podcasting, the amazing, the rambunctious, the rambling one. Say hello to Jerry Valeri.
Hey, good morning again. Here we go. And I'll try, while doing this podcast, not to drop you on your neck.
Wait, what am I missing?
To not drop you directly on your neck like Shinsuke Nakamura did to John Cena last night.
I was fading again last night. I don't know what you're talking about.
There's speculation that John Cena got hurt in that match last night, and at the end of the night, got this shot where John Cena's going to congratulate him and raise his hand. Nakamura say, "I'm sorry." I mean, he says it clear as day. You can see it. John Cena's like, no need to be sorry. Don't worry about being sorry. And he plays it off and he raises his hand, and that's the deal. But he apologized because he does that crazy flip move on Cena, and Cena landed on his neck, and then they wrapped to the finish pretty quickly. I mean, we got to the kick to the face and then the pin. So, and he got legit hurt. I don't know if he's going to be out or anything like that, but it shook him up for sure.
Cena is a tough dude as far as that stuff goes. Like he'll never be the guy who places blame on someone, even though Rollins busted him open on his nose. He won't admit to it. And there's a part, like, there was a time when I was sick of Cena. Don't get me wrong, but he's tough. He's just like, he's a guy I do respect for reasons like that.
I have no problem saying he's one of the best ever, and I think there was a time where I would have, but now maybe it's because I have a kid that loves him, but I see what he does with Make-A-Wish. I see what he does for the WWE stuff in the ring. He just does.
He would have every right to throw a tantrum about that kind of stuff, and he puts in his time. Like, here's my thing, like, he might not be my first choice to be like the guy, but at least the guy that they chose to be the guy appreciates that spot and works to keep it. So kudos to Cena, in my opinion, for stuff like that. I'm going to go back. I do know the spot you're talking about now. I didn't catch him mouthing, "I'm sorry," but I did save SmackDown on my DVR last night, and I'll go back and watch it. I also want to
see it clear as day.
Yeah, I will watch it. So also, I want to say I watched the podcast back yesterday. I don't know what it was. I looked a mess yesterday. I apologize for my appearance in yesterday's podcast.
I don't think you looked bad. I think you were frustrated with some of the audio stuff.
Yeah, I was.
Technical difficulties, but I think you let that consume you. So to me, you just look like a stressed Rob, but you look good. I think you look great.
Nah, my hair was a mess. My beard was a mess. I had a bad angle shooting at me. I was like, oh, dear God, yesterday looking at me. I mean, I never like, look at that handsome devil. But yesterday it was like, I need to apologize for my appearance yesterday.
Absolutely not.
Sometime soon we're going to get our audio back up and working better than this Skype stuff. So just bear with us. Thanks everyone for giving us a post show yesterday. I do love interacting with people. Some good opinions on the post show yesterday. People had some good takeaways from Raw. SmackDown, I think, gave us a good bit to talk about. Personally, I thought SmackDown was a decent show. I think it's safe to say, while I'm not like wildly surprised, I am surprised that Nakamura got the clean win over Cena going into the #1 contendership at SummerSlam.
I didn't see that coming at all. I thought that it was going to be Cena for sure, and I was actually hoping it would be Cena. I think Cena is the better choice there, but hey.
Well, I think I would prefer Nakamura personally, because while I think the story is going to play the same, I do feel like it's a bit early to take the title off Jinder. Let him continue as a monster heel who can prove himself beyond Randy Orton before you let Cena take it off of him. I don't think it's going to make it to WrestleMania, but it could. If you here, let me finish if you don't mind. If you could make up for the lack of builds you had with Jinder. You could make up for that by making him seem overly dominant until WrestleMania.
I agree. When Cena lost last night, I thought, okay, so they're not doing it at SummerSlam 17 at WrestleMania. That's what I see.
Maybe, and
So
then
I'm okay. I'm okay with that. Slow burn it for once. I just hope Cena's not hurt.
we actually we were talking to Tony in a conversation yesterday, and I was saying my reasoning for thinking that Nakamura might win is because I keep hearing and reading the rumors and innuendo, as Bruce Pritchard and Conrad Thompson call it, that Cena is going to have Styles at SummerSlam, but it seems like that's not the case either.
No, because I guess after SmackDown went off the air, they gave us stuff they should have given us on TV again.
Wait a minute. What do you mean? I'm only saying that because on TV they said it's going to be Owen Styles again at SummerSlam.
All right. I want to pull it up because I want to get it right. But Tony, who we were talking to last night, and bear with me while I pull up my Facebook just so I can quote what he told me happened last night after SmackDown goes off the air. You go to the network. I didn't think they were doing Talking Smack, so I don't know where they did this. But he says...
This is frustrating. You're right.
Okay. He says, well, on the network right after, Corbin attacked Nakamura and Cena saved the day and puts Corbin through the announce table. Like that's going to be Cena's SummerSlam opponent. So they didn't put it on TV, but they have John Cena putting Baron Corbin through a table after SmackDown goes off the air. What's the point?
That's ridiculous. You're absolutely right. Why isn't that happening during the show?
That would have been a great way to end the show.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you know who came out a real winner last night, I thought?
Who?
Chad Gable. I thought that even in defeat, he put on a clinic with Rusev that I thought was a thing of beauty.
Yeah, he looked good. I hope that they keep pushing him. Rusev is now in a boring feud with the most boring wrestler on the roster. And I put Randy Orton behind Aiden English for boring. I mean, he's just the most boring person on that roster.
Jared, you know what? I don't know if that's intended to be a joke, but I do get more excited to see Aiden English than I do Randy Orton.
I was just happy when I heard Randy Orton's music for Rusev. I was just happy. That means Randy Orton's not going to somehow find a way into the Jinder Mahal, Nakamura, or Cena thing. Like,
what's the logic here? Is it just you're 4-2, so since I can't beat Nakamura, I'll try to beat you?
Rusev comes out and says, I want competition and I want a match for SummerSlam. And then Randy Orton just comes out and he's like, I'll be your Huckleberry, that kind of thing. It's just boring. It's lazy booking, but that's what Randy Orton is. I'll give him this. He got a huge pop last night in Cleveland, but that's Cleveland and they're all stupid there. So we'll see.
Well, I do think, I agree with you. Another guy who excites me more than Randy Orton, and again, I'm being honest here, the music I get excited to hear more than anybody's is Mike Kanellis and Maria Kanellis. That music, that's a song I would legitimately put on my iPad, my MP3 player.
It's 80s cheese.
It's just 80s cheese, man, and I like it. I like that there's a gimmick going on there. I forget who beat Sami Zayn last night, but just simply giving me a little bit, saying I like that you lost. While it wasn't
Aiden English.
That's right. Yeah, it was that. I was like, I thought we already covered that, but yeah, that's what it was. I like seeing. I thought that was a good move. I know Sammy he eats a lot of crap sandwiches with his win-loss record, but I think that Aiden English needs a victory like that, and then just giving you the little bit of just Mike saying, "I'm glad you lost." That I don't need it to be explosive every time. That was enough for me.
I like that. We love that you lost. As for Aiden English, here's why I think Aiden English is dead in the water. Because he essentially has the same gimmick as Elias Sampson. And right now, Elias Sampson is doing it better.
Oh, boy. Do I agree with that? Well, it is essentially the same gimmick. I I believe that Elias Sampson will stop that gimmick before Aiden English will stop his. I think Aiden was going to win the gimmick battle. Um, it's so I feel like he stepped it up a notch last night, but it is kind of dumb. I don't know. It's dumb when both of them do it.
Yeah, with Elias, I see it working more. He interrupts, he insults the town. The lights are down. He does that. He gets interrupted. Now he's hitting people with the guitar around. If he starts giving people the El Capone with that guitar more often, although he almost killed Finn Balor, so they might not let him anymore. He swings that thing in a dangerous way. So
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's so weird to me that I can't tell you how many times we've seen Styles and Owens over the past 2 months. It just seems like it's ad nauseum. They had a great match last night, or at least they had a solid match last night, and then we're supposed to get excited when they announce them for SummerSlam.
yeah, and I guess the caveat now is that Shane McMahon is going to be the referee. The only thing that I like is so you have the terrible battleground match where it's kind of like a schmozzy finish. It was a weird finish. And then last night they do another weird finish. And then the title changed hands at Madison Square Garden. So these weird finishes to matches and unconventional finishes to matches is kind of becoming the gimmick of the story. And I'm okay with it. I mean, you have two of my favorite wrestlers on the roster fighting. I'm okay with it. But I haven't gotten that match that I want to see from either one of them yet.
Yeah.
I'm hoping it ends soon.
It's weird because this is when you look at how many times they've been programmed together over the past 2 months, and how many times you and I have both been like, okay, AJ Styles and Kevin Owens on pay-per-view, this has the potential to be a match of the year candidate. And then the match happens and it always lets us down. Their best outing was their first one. I believe it was Money in the Bank. Everything thereafter has not lived up to my expectations. This should already be feud of the year for us. But I wouldn't even put that in my considerations for feud of the year yet.
Yeah, I guess I did. What's interesting is how they expect us to forget things. Kevin Owens is mad at Shane McMahon for not being fair and favoring AJ Styles, and now Shane McMahon's going to be the special guest referee, and Kevin Owens thinks that's not fair. But 4 months ago, that AJ Styles was throwing Shane McMahon through a car window, and they were fighting at WrestleMania because he didn't think that Shane McMahon was fair to him. So, another Shane McMahon fight with Kevin Owens, I think, but it's the same gimmick they did with the other guy.
And what else I thought was funny about that segment, and also kind of a little bit flawed, maybe you could say, but you've got Kevin Owens destroying the back with Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon there. And Daniel Bryan's saying, okay, so we need a tougher referee. We need a big, strong, tough guy who knows his way around the ring. I thought he was going to nominate himself to be the referee.
He can't take a bump. That's why they're not letting him take a bump.
Yeah, but I mean, okay, if it's like Stephanie or someone who's not a big tough guy saying we're going to get a big tough guy to be the referee, but you've got a big tough guy saying another big tough guy is going to be your referee. I just thought that was flawed to me.
Yeah, well, and I just didn't like Daniel Bryan in that role anyways at all. I like Daniel Bryan, but he went away off that show.
Yeah, this is not his area of expertise. I agree. This is being the general manager is not really what he's cut out for, sadly. I want to see him have some matches again, but it sounds like that's not going to happen in WWE, at least not any time in the near future. So
correct.
I want to say, when I think of the highlight of the show last night, I know I kind of brushed upon this earlier. The highlight to me was those suplexes from Chad Gable to Rusev, those overhead belly to bellies, where I mean he picked Rusev up like a feather. And I know it's both of them doing that, but those look perfect. And he wouldn't release them. Do you remember those? Or do you not remember those?
I do.
Yeah, I mean, that to me was just, I can't even tell you how happy those made me, that he's just tossing Rusev around like a sack of potatoes or whatever. Love that.
He didn't get the win, but he'll get the win eventually.
Nothing really progressed with the women at all yesterday, at least in my opinion. And that kind of about covers it. I'm torn though. So
I'll say this. If I could say this, I'll say that I really liked, and I know you guys don't like them, and I don't love them. But I loved the Usos trolling Cleveland.
Okay,
that was great.
So
I mean, the whole crowd was like, "Yeah, oh Cleveland," and he's like, and you can hear the moment when they realize, hey.
Yeah. Okay, I'm glad you brought that up. I forgot about this segment. So this is, there were good and bad parts of what Usos did last night. So the Usos, that part was good. That was a good idea. The way they trolled the crowd was unique, because you're right. It was like, first of all, I think they had new music last night. I'm not positive. And then, but the way, there was a real moment when I was even like, wait a minute, I'm being suckered right now. So I did have,
give it up for your busted up tag team.
Yeah.
And everyone just got quiet.
Yeah, or I was kind of like, did they maybe let a different guy do the intro this time? Like, I was like, what's happening? What are my ears hearing here? But then, so the Usos came out and they did a promo that rhymed. It was like a rapping promo, which I actually thought would be a decent gimmick for them. And here's the weird thing. I think that the raps are written really well. Like, they rhyme and they don't sound too forced, and they reference stuff that's relevant to their angle. But for some reason, the way that the Usos deliver these raps, I don't know why they can't get this. They can't deliver it properly, in my opinion.
I didn't hear that. Yeah, I didn't hear that. I liked it. I think that anybody rapping, it's always cringeworthy. It was cringeworthy when Cena did it, and that was over.
No, I have to do a hard disagree there. You can't change my mind on this. When Cena did it, he took it really seriously, and he came off as, in my opinion, not corny doing that, personally.
It always makes me cringe. It just always does. I get it. It worked for him, but anytime anybody's trying to rap and they're not a rapper, I can tell in it. It's like,
You can,
but if it works and it moves the story along, I can handle it, and I like it, and I like this, and this is why I won't bang on the Usos for their new gimmick, because it's better than the play and the paint stuff. And so every time people are like, I just don't like it, it's not working for me. Tag team, and this is better than what we had, so I'll stay with it. I'll stay with this Thug Uso stuff.
Jerry's on that day one-ish.
Is H.
The fashion peaks. This was, I do love the segment still. I guess this was the one that missed with me the most, though, just because I don't know Twin Peaks even a little bit. But even still,
no.
and even their inside humor in the background. I get most of it, but just this time it felt the weakest to me personally.
I like how they just keep tying in the Ascension for no reason. I think that's cool.
They seem to be making a lot of fun of. I'm pretty sure it's Tony Chimmel. They were calling him like a fat blob or something last night. I don't know why they keep picking on him.
Yeah, it's getting weirder. At some point, we'll get a resolution. I wonder if this is going to introduce a new tag team. I think that it's going to, and I have theory as to who it may be.
What's your theory? Oh, we got a Valerian theory?
Valerian theory. Well, I have been watching, I can't think of the name, so I haven't been watching it much, but I've been watching a little more NXT. And who are those weirdos, the weirdo team in NXT?
Do you mean Sanity?
Maybe it's them.
What about DIY?
be doing weird like alien type stuff and dragging people out and kidnapping them? And didn't DIY break up?
I don't know. I'm not gonna lie and say I watch NXT. Don't make me lie to the
It
audience.
gets dicey when we start introducing NXT stuff. I don't really know.
I'm gonna go.
Other than that, I don't know what you want to.
I would love for it to be a new tag team, but I'm gonna disagree and say it's not gonna be one. Would that be cool?
Here's to hoping. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. By the way, every time I see a commercial for that Valerian movie, while I have zero desire to see it, I always think of you. It never fails.
That's awesome. Good. I'm glad. I'm sure it's terrible, but I'm glad. But it reminds me of me too.
Anything else you want to hit today?
Do you watch Bring It to the Table? I find myself really enjoying that the most on the network right now.
I love that show, and I've always watched it day after, but I've been so busy with house stuff. I'm going to try to get to that today. That is a great show.
Get to it, and then we'll discuss. They were very very honest about Sasha Banks, and then some backstage issues with Enzo and their feelings on Enzo, and I thought about Enzo getting thrown off a bus and being thrown out of the locker room. I thought it was pretty insightful. Anyways.
Interesting. Yeah, I love stuff like that. Cool. Yeah, I can probably get to that today, I would think. So I'll try to be able to report back to that tomorrow. Tomorrow will be a fun show. I'm excited for the worst of wrestling tomorrow. That should be fun. I think we've got
and we won't have a hard time digging up some terrible stuff.
No, I don't think so either. So I'm excited to record again tomorrow, and that will be our last podcast for this week. And then I guess next week, do we get a predictions episode, or is that the following?
No, we're done till SummerSlam.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying is, so next week we'll have Raw, SmackDown, and then another episode. Is that going to be the predictions, or will we have a theme?
So yeah, I think we'll have a theme. SummerSlam's not till the 20th.
Yeah, I think you're right. So we'll have another theme. We'll always take recommendations for themes too in the post show or comments or whatever. So thanks everyone for tuning in this week. We're working on the audio. We'll get that back up and running here as soon as we can. For myself and my tag team partner, Ramblin' Jerry Valerian. Everybody have a great rest of your hump day. Worst of wrestling tomorrow. You won't want to miss it.